We here at IAmPattyJack... Wait, hold on. It's kind of only me, isn't it? Me here at IAmPattyJack dearly value Bethesda and everything that it's given me over the past few years. Most of the success on my channel has been attributed to Bethesda titles in some way, whether that be the success of SkyZ, FallZ, Mod Spotlights, and much more. However, when Bethesda does things like this, or really when any prominent developer, publisher, or developers and publishers of any size do things like this, well, I gotta kinda talk about it. And it fits because we cover Bethesda stuff a lot on this channel, so, you know, this is gonna be a thing that's gonna be discussed. This is, of course, the Bethesda statement on game reviews and review codes that's currently up on the news portion of their website. If you want, you can go over there and read the full thing. In fact, I would recommend doing that so you know the full situation before you come back to this video. And I'll also say that I'm not going to be going through absolutely everything about it. There are plenty of other people who have already done that a lot better than I ever could, guys like Tarmac, Total Biscuit, Jim Sterling, and a plethora of other people. However, I'm going to put my 2 cents in the matter as well and actually kind of offer this other weird opinion that I'm having that I don't agree with but is still a thing nonetheless. So anyways, getting to the actual post, the gist of it says that Bethesda has now outright stated they will not be sending out review copies for games until 1 day before release. So basically, whether you're IGN, GameSpot, Total Biscuit, Jim Sterling, or little old me, you will not be getting a copy to review before the launch date, or at least until 1 day before, which is really nothing. And this poses a huge problem, most notably the idea that if you can't get a game until 1 day before launch, then you don't get as much time to play it to create your review. Now, having a bit of extra time to review a game, you know, a week or so or something like that, is always extremely beneficial because it means you get to play more of the game and have more ready to go when the embargo finally lifts. Even if you can't post the review until the game is released, you still get more time and can deliver a more accurate representation of the final product. So basically, by not allowing anyone to get their hands on games until a day before the launch, you're limiting exactly how much we know about the product beforehand, and for consumers, that's a terrible thing. As a consumer, you want to have as much information about games as possible from as many different sources as possible, and you don't necessarily want the publisher or developer to control all of that. In fact, there are very few instances where you would. So the problem is now we have all these reviewers and critics that are going to be vying for getting the reviews out early because that's where they get the most traffic, and subsequently, if you get games this late before launch, then you can expect way less substantial reviews, and they're going to be a hell of a lot more likely to have mistakes throughout them. So really, on the consumer standpoint, this is absolutely awful because it really just allows the publisher to dictate exactly what the hype is for the game and tell everyone, hey guys, don't worry, it'll be good, even if it turns out not to be. And this comes as a surprise because Bethesda has actually turned out a lot of games that are really good lately, you know? I mean, obviously, Doom was really well received. Fallout 4 was pretty good in general. I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but at the same time, it wasn't any sort of Arkham Knight scenario. So it baffles me why they feel the need to control all these messages about the game leading up to release. And it's not like this hasn't been a thing before. This has been going on for years, you know? Developers will just seemingly do this out of the blue for certain games. You know, Shadow of Mordor was another one where that happened, which was, again, really weird because that game was really good and there was no reason to want to do that. So what I'm saying is that this entire standpoint is bad for consumers. However, it is good for a subset of people aside from the developer and publisher. And now you're gonna hate me for saying this, and I do not agree with this. I'm going to preface this as much as I can. I am on the consumer side. However, I have to acknowledge, partially just to myself, that this is beneficial for channels that are my size. When you're in that 10,000 to 50,000 range, I'm going to say, it's extremely difficult to get access to these giant AAA titles. In fact, over my channel's career, I've only really gotten access to 2 or 3 of them. Everything else I've had to buy, and the only time I can buy those and access them is when they get released. So for any content creator around the smaller size, it's a lot more beneficial because it means that we get access to games a lot more closely to these other larger organizations. So feasibly, I could get just as much time playing the Skyrim Special Edition and get a review out roughly around the same time as a place like IGN would, which could definitely increase my traffic. So I've got to look at it from the hard facts that this is terrible for consumers. However, it's conflicting because it is good for my own business. And again, I'm not saying that this is a good thing or that I'm glad about it. In fact, I sincerely oppose it. But the idea that I can make this video on side with consumers without acknowledging that it could be beneficial for me would be about as unethical to me as, say, if Bethesda were to tell everyone it was a good thing that they weren't sending out review codes until a day before their product's release. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. I would be super appreciative. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I am PattyJack. I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.